All right. Welcome, everybody, to the first podcast of the new channel that we're starting off, which is a podcast channel called The Warehouse. Today, we have five people here. We got me, we got Damon, we got Jorge, we got Miguel, and we got Daniel.
I love
Damon is going
khakis.
to say something about himself, which is the one with the Joji profile picture.
I love khakis.
All right, Jorge.
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, that's about it. Miguel.
Bazinga.
And Daniel.
Fuck you.
And that's basically the only
Whoa.
introductions we're gonna need. And today's podcast, or this podcast that you're gonna see, is going to be about video games. And we're gonna start it off by talking about some first-person shooters that we've all played before. Anyone want to say some games that you've played for
Not
first-person
Call of
shooters?
Duty.
Call of Duty has been my entire life ever since I fucking popped out of the womb.
I haven't played a single Call of Duty game, dude.
I have played
Yeah.
like a couple. I've only played Call of Duty 2 and Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and that one Warzone.
Yeah, Warzone.
Oh yeah, that one.
You forgot Fortnite.
Fortnite's a Call of
I
Duty
was-
game,
I've
Damien.
also
Damien.
noticed that
It's not
Ricardo,
a Call of Duty game.
What?
Ricardo has this thing of not liking like
Realistic
video
game.
game realistic games.
Dude, I
Even
love
though
realistic games.
even Apex, which isn't even that realistic.
Nah, I just
Yeah,
don't like Apex.
I
It's
guess,
just
like,
boring.
If your game doesn't consist of rocket launchers and
And
Fortnite cars
and just animation in general.
Yeah, no, I
then-
just cause when it comes to like games like that, cause there can be like more unique stuff made with the map and the characters or weapons, but with like normal battle royales like Call of Duty Warzone and Apex Legends, cause there can be some like cool variety of cool designs, but like some guns are just basic. Like in Apex, what was it? The pistol shotgun was like something with an M. What was it?
Mozambique.
Yeah, Mozambique. Cause like sure it can be a cool weapon, but I just don't like it, cause I don't know. I just something about how or not how unrealistic, how realistic it is. It just doesn't feel like creative or fun to me.
To me, what makes a first-person shooter fun is how the guns feel and like the atmosphere and just like how the gun feels. And I think that's what makes Black Ops 2 like one of my favorite Black Ops games.
For me, it doesn't rely too much on like atmosphere or realistic, you know. I think it's just if it's like it just move a lot of
Mobility.
Moving.
and just like the guns feel nice, like you said.
Which
Yeah.
that's one of the
main
reasons I
factor.
like a specific gun in CS:GO, the M4A1S with the suppressor,
Mhm.
because using it with just a suppressor makes it, well, it helps it be more accurate, and I just like the way it sounds because it's nice little
Yeah.
swift like.
I don't know why like guns with a suppressor just feels so amazing to me.
Yeah,
They
because usually because it
do.
makes you feel like it's more accurate and stuff. Because
It makes
Yeah.
you feel like you're Batman.
I'm
Does
Batman.
does it make you feel like Batman?
I'm Batman.
Honey,
I
what are
think
you
it makes you
hungry
really-
for? Justice. Can someone
think
send
it
that
ma-
video?
I think it really makes me feel like Spider-Man.
It really makes
me feel
like
my favorite superhero.
Yeah, but okay, all right. I just want to get this out of the way. I am really excited for the new Spider-Man game that's coming to the PS5.
I haven't
It,
played
it
the
has
first
to
one,
do
but
with
it still
what
looks
was
really
it?
cool.
Who is it?
Miles Morales.
Yeah, with Miles.
Yeah, it's because the first game was pretty good. I never owned the game before, but I played it with my cousin a few times, and the game feels so good, especially in a controller. Like I feel like you can't. This is not a game that you could play with like a keyboard or mouse. It's just like holding it in your hand and just swinging it around like a little spider that you are. So I'm really excited to see how this game, improves with that.
I mean, for Spider-Man, I just feel that it's gonna be the same thing, just a different character.
Yeah,
It
and I
don't-
think
feels
that's
like an add-on.
Cause I think that since like the way like Into the Spider-Verse was like built with like a whole bunch of like other different Spider-Men or women, um, were in it. I think they can like work with that. Like there being multiple missions or you being the ability to switch between different characters with their own specific stories that they can do, or it just
Yeah.
might be only about Miles. I don't know. I don't really know about it, and I don't plan to
More than
watch
likely, it's gonna be about Miles.
about the game or play the game, since I'm
Yeah.
not really interested to superhero games. Since I personally haven't had any fun with any of them.
Oh, but you like Endgame and Infinity War.
Cause those are movies that you watch, not with play.
That's a
Mhm.
different topic for
Cause,
another
cause
day.
that's
But
a whole different thing.
I
But
think
Because
if we're talking about video games, then we should really talk about Minecraft.
Minecraft.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel
Where do we?
Minecraft
absolutely we
needs
should.
more bosses.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
There's not
More
a
bosses, more dungeons,
huh.
more
Well, it looks
temples,
like Daniel's probably having
more
a heart attack at the
challenges.
moment.
but Minecraft, like it's one of those games that you don't have to put too much time and
Effort.
investment to, other than like building territory and just or making something creative. But like it's one of those games you could just have a laugh with your best buddies and pals, just fucking around. Like if it's like another sandbox game, but even
Well,
though
because
Minecraft is
that's
not
what
like one of
Minecraft
those.
is a sandbox game.
It is.
It
It is.
is. And that's what I like about it, because there's a bunch of creativity you can put into it, and it has a lot of nostalgia for a lot of people, which helps plays with how you feel in the game. And
And
luckily, what's
it
cool is
keeps
that they don't really make it expensive. It's not that expensive for so much you can do and how much fun you can have,
Yeah.
especially since if
And
you're on PC. Not
and
to
pretty
mention,
much
I'm pretty
almost everything's free.
yeah, and
yeah.
not to mention that I don't know if it was Mojang or Microsoft, but if you already had like a Minecraft account for like over a certain amount of years, like 3 or 4, you were able to get Minecraft Bedrock Edition for free as long as your account was old
It
enough.
was 1 year. It was 1 year.
All right, well, I think
It's
that was pretty cool
Yeah.
because like a lot of people would have had Minecraft by then and basically would be able to get themselves free Minecraft Bedrock, but I think it was only for PC and not for
Yeah.
Xbox and stuff.
but the
Yeah, because
mm,
it didn't come out for consoles yet.
no, I think it did.
Yeah, no, but like until like Microsoft bought like the license to Minecraft and like re-released
Ah,
it.
But first of all, let's try to check in with Daniel. For the people who aren't looking at the chat, he said he's going AFK for a second because he has some chest pain. I don't. So let's give him a quick call. See how our
that's
little
cringe.
little skinny man's doing.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
didn't.
Aaron, shut up. Aaron, shut up.
He didn't
Oh
eat
wait,
tum
he's texting.
tums.
He's
Oh
texting right now
no,
in
he must
chat.
He
answer the
he
call.
he didn't eat tum tums.
He didn't have the yummy yums in the right way.
Exactly, dude.
Hey Daniel,
Hey, Daniel.
we're just we're just checking. Oh, and there
Oh,
he
Wait,
Yeah,
goes.
he
what
hangs
did he say?
up.
He said, "Let me die in peace." I need contents, but whatever.
All right,
Back
yeah,
to
we can
Minecraft.
I
back to
was gonna
Minecraft.
attempt to eat tum tums, but I
Still
guess
don't know what
not.
that is. I think.
Tom Toms are like those little like round like pills that you take, but they're not pills. They're
They
like
stop.
vitamins.
They stop heartburns.
Yes,
Why
that's all
don't
you
we
need to know.
just eat freaking Pepto Bismol or drink it? I mean.
That's stomach
I don't
bug.
eat too much fast food. Don't say I eat too much fast food, Jorge.
Well, you never know.
Welcome
That
back,
All
Daniel.
right,
I think maybe.
we're getting off topic. We're getting off
Wait,
we're
topic.
getting off topic.
All right, yeah, I
Uh,
know.
all right,
All
I
right.
think that's enough about Minecraft.
No,
I
because
think
I
we
think
said.
we can talk about like the
hey, hey.
Terraria Minecraft
I
war.
want to. I
Terraria.
want to say
Let's
something
talk
about
about
Minecraft real
But
quick.
Terraria.
Daniel needs to
Oh
say
my
something
god.
about
Yeah,
Minecraft since he was busy.
Daniel, go.
Clear, and then they had to pop him open.
Its soundtrack is so good.
Oh, soundtrack is a bop. I don't know
Oh,
why we haven't
it's
mentioned the
a
soundtrack of games.
classic.
But like, it's like I love video game like soundtracks.
It's a
They're-
classic.
Yeah, they're not as on the level as like movie soundtracks.
A lot of
It's just
movies I haven't seen like really good soundtracks besides like some occasional songs, and I swear to God, if you say "Let it go" from
uh,
freaking Frozen was a good
Oh my.
song, that like just Oscar-winning song, I think there's something wrong with you.
I'm not like a big like music guy, but like me just like listening to these like these like soundtracks from any genre of like or just any entertainment. It's like, damn, this shit good, yo.
This
I
shit
don't know.
good.
I don't
I
mean to
have,
be
Give
a
me two
bitch,
more. Give me two
but I
more.
think RPGs have the best music.
oh no,
Yeah, they
absolutely,
usually do, and it's
because they have
surprisingly
the atmosphere of their setting of their game.
I mean,
especially
what's
And what has like a really good soundtrack to set the atmosphere has to be Terraria.
oh yeah,
Because
I never heard of the Terrace soundtrack. I never
bro,
heard it
it's
before.
such a good soundtrack,
It's
Damon.
very different
I
from
Because
mean,
other.
because with Minecraft's caves, you sound terrified. You're about to shit yourself. You're
yeah.
about to
I don't
queef
consider
all
that.
over the floor.
I don't
And then the
consider that.
Terraria caves, it sounds like you're in the goddamn disco. Cause even the bad places sound like a bop. Besides like the Crimson, which is the only one of the few areas that sounds kind of terrifying,
I
and
never
a bit
grew
of
up
the
with.
underworld.
I never grew up with Terraria, but like I know that that game has such had such like a huge impact on like
Ricardo,
many people. Yeah.
What's up?
Well,
he
it's just
had
like
a huge impact on me.
What?
yeah, but on no on Terraria.
Terraria was definitely one of my most important games that I played, because people were always like fighting which one's better, Minecraft or Terraria. And I personally thought Terraria was better due to the fact that
Cringe.
there was more variety in it, more bosses, more weapons, the fact that weapons couldn't break. And I
I
remember
mean,
having arguments in elementary with my friend
Uh, I
who
remember when that was such
was
a
arguing
big
it.
argument, like back then in my elementary like days when like I would like see like groups like debating like which one was better, Minecraft or Terraria,
You know,
and
I
just
personally went for Terraria, but both of them are really good games, and I always was a fan of both, and I always will be.
and I
And
love how both studios like made an agreement to like
not be
not
like trying to one up each other and they just do their own
yeah
thing because
I think like one game is better at one specific thing than the other.
Mhm.
I
yeah
think
and
Terraria
Minecraft
for
is better at
bosses.
I think Minecraft is better at multiplayer, online multiplayer than
because
Terraria
since
is.
it's 3D, there can be a lot more games, and since there's 2D,
Mm-hmm.
obviously there's still stuff you can make in it, but it's not as big that you might want it to be,
It's not as big
I
and
think
can be
Terraria looks
games.
accessible.
prettier though, a lot prettier.
yeah. But speaking
Especially
of
now that it had its final update, they just
That makes me
like
sad.
Just
remade everything. It's its final big update. There's still gonna be like a few small updates, and then sadly, Terraria's gonna be put at an end.
yeah, at some point you just gotta have to like just stop and just make something different instead of repeating the same old thing that you've been working
okay,
for so
but
many years.
what do you think is the best soundtrack of games overall?
The
Soundtrack
best soundtrack?
overall, I don't know.
That's hard for me
Like
to say.
Toby Fox is one of the really good music artists
Yeah.
that works on games because he made Undertale and that has a really good soundtrack. And I'm pretty sure he also helped make some of the songs for Sword and Shield, one of the newest Pokemon games that came out.
I think I will say for me, one of my favorite soundtracks to a game is Halo 3. It's like just running certain no, that's the first Halo game.
Still Halo.
But yeah,
Cringe.
it's still Halo. Like you cannot have that team and not think of Halo.
Yeah,
I
no
mean,
matter what.
for me, I think it's the Grand Theft Auto 4 one.
Oh yeah. I think that soundtrack is pretty interesting, in my opinion.
It's different from other soundtracks.
Yeah. But I think what we should talk about more about video games is about like our childhood games that we used to play.
There's usually
Grand Theft
things
Auto
we can
4.
talk
I
about.
think for me a song like that I specifically remember from GTA is the theme for San Andreas.
Oh yeah.
I haven't really listened to it much, less
Yeah, I
played it, so I
haven't
can't
listened.
really,
I'm
like
I'm sure you've
say
heard
about
it.
it. I probably
Yeah,
heard like one or two stuff. Oh,
I
let's see
think
what's one
it's
of this.
for some.
Let me quiet. Just go and listen to this real quick. Let's see what this is.
Oh, that one.
I
I
already
mean,
knew it when I heard
Oh
San Andreas. I
yeah,
knew it was. But I think
this was such a popular song to make like old meme like hashtag Tug Life MOG Whippin'
yeah,
Nene.
MLG.
Holy shit, MOG, dude.
That's so old.
dude,
That's
Oh
that's
my
such
lord.
so
such like an
old.
old thing, and when that like it's one of those things where like what's cool then and then now it just makes you want to like
Kill yourself.
yeah basically because of like how like cringe it feels to like think about.
It
Yeah,
was cringe.
but
But the game that probably like took that to like the biggest level was Call of Duty, I'm pretty sure.
oh
Since
yeah,
everyone was
absolutely.
trying to do trick shots and do a bunch of cool stuff and pretend they're in face when they clearly aren't.
No, to me, Call of Duty, like I feel like it revolutionized like the whole like like competitive teams and just like competitive like games for like like live tournaments and having actual teams like FaZe and like Optic or something like that. I don't know much of the Call of Duty teams, but I think that's what started it all. Was like making like video games like into like an actual like sport or esports as they're called now.
Yeah, no, which it's good that it started. Call it? It's good that it
Something
started adding like competitive scenes for like teams and stuff, which is it wasn't like obviously the start, but it basically did pretty good, and I like it a lot because now that we got a whole bunch of competitive scenes, like Overwatch League and their own Fortnite ones, there's everything. FNAF fans arguing about which animatronic chicken has the fattest ass.
God damn it.
That could be a good segue. Oh, I can't. Hold
Oh,
on.
that.
I
My
can't
God.
play it. Oh.
the,
Well,
I
then,
think
yeah.
a good,
Let's talk about FNAF now.
I think we should just talk about horror
Wait, wait,
games
wait,
So
wait,
in
like
wait.
general.
what?
God of War. I think that's gonna start just concentrating on like kind of more of story and the plot of it.
Well, like
Hmm.
back in like in previous like console like generations, like they already like innovated with like storytelling and like actual like
Or
good.
it just actually started with things that become just extremely hard. I think just started with that, and
I think you're
just
more
games
talking
start to
about Dark
copy.
Souls. Dark Souls.
Dude, and when did Dark Souls came out?
Shoot, I don't know, dude. I think it was like early 2000s or something.
Dang.
But I think we're getting off topic. I think we
Yeah,
should
we
talk
are.
about
Yeah.
horror
Dark
games.
A
Souls
bit of
came
horror
out in
games.
FNAF.
2011.
What came out in
Dark
2011?
Souls.
Dark Souls. All right. You
But
know, I know that's one of the hardest
Alright, I'm
games, but
back.
let's try to. Oh, hi George. Welcome
Yeah,
back.
what's up?
I think we should talk about horror games now, because oh
Horror
man,
games?
yeah,
FNAF just stepped
FNAF.
up the
Yeah,
game.
I feel like FNAF is something we could really talk about and just like
Like,
Because we can talk about the community and just the games and books as a whole. I don't really know much about the
I
books.
think the thing that ruined it is the fan base.
That's basically like every game, especially
yeah, especially when it gets
FNAF.
like
I think the
really
third
popular.
game. I think the third game is when it kind of
The
died for
thing that
me.
ruined it for me was a bit
I
too repeated.
the third game was on its own weird because the first game basically just revolutionized everything. Like, oh shit, we gotta do
But the
that.
Everything
second
We
was
gotta
game
do
finished.
that. The second FNAF game is my personal favorite out of all the games that we could play because I don't know. It just probably because the one I played the first since I wanted to try that one out, and then I did, and I'm a god at it. And none of you can face me,
Ah,
except for the
yeah,
ones that
yeah, I
can
can face
face
you.
me.
But
But
I
I
think,
mean,
I think that FNAF has really like done so successful like with like other indie games like Undertale and like Shovel Knight and like all the others that like garnered like an entire franchise. Hell, FNAF has gotten so many books, so many games, and hell, they're making a
and
movie.
yeah,
it's still getting
and he's not
books.
done. Scott is
Yeah,
not done, and he won't
He's
be for
still
like probably
another
like
10
another two
years.
years.
oh no,
Because
definitely. He's
he just keeps on coming up with this stuff. He keeps on thinking, keeps on working, and keeps on
yeah,
writing,
yeah,
illustrating,
And the thing
making
that I really
games,
like the
programming.
most, the thing I really like the most is how we still haven't solved the whole story of it.
Yeah,
yeah.
because it's so confusing.
And
It
he's
is confusing.
and the new books that are coming out is just to solve the whole story, which we got
Yeah,
Matt Pat to do
Dude,
that.
poor
he was
Batman.
supposed to stop after like a certain amount of books, but then
Yeah,
he's adding a new one, and then pretty sure gonna add more. There was
yeah.
supposed to be less books, and he's just making more, and it's so confusing how he
But
can
you know what?
possibly think of so much
But the
ideas.
thing I give Scott
Alright.
Coffin so much
Mhm.
respect for is that he actually puts like love and care to these games, except for one developer, Yandere Dev. Can we actually take a
Damn.
moment to talk about this? This fuck.
The Virgin
Um.
Yandere Dev versus the Chad Scott Cawthon and Toby Fox.
So,
Yes.
I think he's a mess.
what happens if Scott Cawthon and Toby Fox worked on one game?
Oh,
It
it'll be an
it could
absolute
be a
banger.
pretty good game, but because the things that they like known to specialize in are usually different. One of them's an RPG based game, and another one is a
Or
horror game, survival.
Deltarune Chapter 2 or whatever it's called though.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, how
Deltarune is
about this one?
was what we're waiting for. We haven't gotten anything about it. I'm pretty sure,
no news either.
We have like other ones.
but I think it might have also been like an Easter egg, not an Easter egg. I mean, like a April Fool's joke, because it's Toby. He's pretty trolly.
Yeah, but like Yandere Div, Jesus
Um,
Christ.
if for
This
some reason for you guys who know about a lot of games and somehow do not know who Yandere Dev is,
you
I'm gonna remind
basically
you about a
yourself.
game that you
Oh yeah,
forgot
guys,
existed.
guys, we
What?
forgot about something for FNAF.
What?
It's Springtrap is getting added in Deadlight or Dead by Daylight.
Really?
Damn.
Yeah,
Really?
it is.
Can you send something about it in chat?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Wait,
but
really?
alright, but
I need to. I mean, sorry, it's a fan made trailer,
Oh my god,
oh
Damon.
my
or
god.
is it?
That's
Yep,
why
it
you
is.
read that's why you read shit. But no,
I mean, it would
we're
be
talking,
really cool.
can
Well,
we
I
take a
mean, the
few minutes
latest
to talk
one
about
is this
what
one.
a Yandere Div is? 'Cause
Yeah, let me explain. All right, so basically, there is a game that you guys might have forgotten. The name of the game is Yandere Simulator, which you probably could have thought of by just hearing Yandere Dev, which you guys have thought probably before. It was, oh my god, it was such a game that had so much potential, and it probably could have, but it gained popularity, and then because of that, Yandere
We have
Dev gained so
Pyramid
much
Heads
of an
and
ego that he just stopped caring about the game, stopped developing, grew fat old man whose sweat is heavier than his ball sack. It just became downhill for him, and he's known to be a horrible developer for having such disgusting codes, even having his own code leak of the game. And at this point, fans are
Cringe.
probably gonna finish the game before he finish it, because the first rival isn't even an option to fight against, and there's supposed to be like 10, and not even the first one is even out. But basically, he's just a horrible developer. He steals a lot of stuff. He's known to be a pervert and stuff. It's just everything as a whole about him just is just dislikable. Cause they're like, oh, is this an indie game? He shouldn't be worrying too hard, and that's why you can easily just compare it to the two big boys that we just talked about, Toby Fox and Scott Cawthon.
the funniest part about all of this is that one of the settings, which is the pool in Yandere Simulator, he stole that from a porn game.
Yeah, it's great.
Cringe.
Because yeah, no, and then like anyone who tries to help him, like if they do wanted to change the way he wants him to work with, like if they do their own like coding that's much cleaner, that helps it run much smoother, he will just he just doesn't want that. He had a team to help him, but instead of helping him, he fired them.
Probably the mods are way better than the actual vanilla game, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah, not to mention his Discord servers become a place known for speedrunning and how fast you can get banned off his server because people have taken less than a second to get banned off the server. You
Absolutely.
realize how much moderation that takes to ban someone in less than a second? Either there's some person with inhuman reflexes or probably a
or just a
bot.
bot.
Probably
Which
makes
is
sense.
it's probably a bot that makes more sense.
Hmm.
Anyways, all right, let's. I think we should just jump over to this topic and talk about another topic,
One
which
more
is
game.
our childhood games.
And that was for me. That was Grand Theft Auto 4.
Ricardo,
I
your
childhood
game?
games. It was definitely Pokemon games and Nintendo games since I played on like 3DSs, DSs, Wii's, and Wii U's, which definitely just was my personal favorite games like Pokemon and Mario.
Daniel, your childhood game?
My childhood game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think this through. It's probably like Minecraft Pocket Edition, dude.
I remember having Minecraft Pocket Edition.
But
I had it in like
Mm,
my mom's account.
what's your first game ever?
My first game ever. I really do not know, but it could have been something on like it was like a Game Boy, but no, what was the one that was like it was like a handheld purple one. I don't know what it was. But it had like a soccer game and a Power Rangers game.
mm.
I don't know. It was one of
I
those
don't know
games
if
I
y'all
played.
remember
The
this.
Game Boy Advance.
This is my favorite console of all.
Oh yeah,
It's
the plug
loading.
Oh
and
my
play.
I can't
god.
see it. It's loading. What is it? Oh, I'm hearing some lag. Guys. Hold on, I can fix this.
Uh, But for some reason, you just want to play them.
So like
This one,
my
this
Wi-Fi
one
is
had this
glitching
this
out,
had
so you guys are glitching out. Can
Oh,
can, can you
Sonic
like
Boom.
quickly say something? Oh,
I'm
the
here.
SpongeBob console. Oh, what the? What is that? That Sonic
Those are
Gold
those are
controller?
those plug and plays.
It had like the first Sonic the Hedgehog, the second Sonic the Hedgehog. It
Yeah.
had Dr. Robotnik and the Mean Bean Machine,
Mm.
and it had Sonic Spinball.
Ooh, no, that's a fun one.
Right. By the way, Damon had some unexpected news just come up, so he's gonna have to leave for now.
Uh,
So he's gonna
so
gonna be gone for now, probably for the rest of the
This is,
this might
podcast.
this
happen
is the
on
other
a
one I
future
had.
podcast. Oh, the Namco one.
I've never had
Um,
most of these,
Yeah,
cause
I never owned a
Fucking played
plug
the
and play.
shit out of Dig Dug, dude,
out of what?
Mm,
Dig
and
Dog?
Rally X.
dude,
Hello? Hold on, let me rejoin the call.
Yo, you good?
Alright, yeah, I'm good. I can hear you guys now. My
Nice
Wi
cool.
Fi
Nice
is
to go to circle.
being really weird right now.
Mm.
Basically, Miguel said his first game was Lego Batman on the DS.
Lego Batman on the DS. That sounds
That
like
My first
Polish.
game was Pokemon Fire Red on the Game Boy Advance.
That's pretty interesting.
I think we should talk about Pokemon because I want to hear like how you like Miguel and Jorge feel over that those type of games
I'm
that you
not a
never really played.
Pokemon
Yeah,
Because I know you're
fan.
not
no,
into it. I just want to know like what you think about it.
yeah. I think like I remember back then, like I never had such like I had such a random hatred for it. Like I didn't know why,
You
but
just
I just
hated Pokemon for no
yeah,
reason.
yeah, for no reason until that ended like my last like since the start of seventh grade, where I'm like, it's not that bad of a franchise.
Man, I hate these Pokemon. Fucking that ugly ass
But
rag.
actually,
Holy crap, Gardevoir's hot.
actually, no, actually, I don't know, Ricardo, if you remember this, but in sixth grade, we remember in English class where we had to like write like something about ourselves or something like that,
I
and
think.
yeah, and the last thing that I said was, and my least favorite thing is Pokemon. I don't know why, I just don't like it. And you like came out like, but why? I'm like, I
And
just
me
don't.
about to harass you for the
Yeah,
wrong opinion.
and that's how we met.
We met for other reasons, but that's for nerd time.
Yeah, that's another time.
But for me, I personally really like Pokemon because it's a game that built my childhood and also like is my favorite game. Specifically, Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, but specifically Black 2 than just White 2.
It's like
Because
Pokemon is. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, you go ahead.
Pokemon is like one of those franchises where it's like sure you may never like get the whole premise of it of like why people like it, but like it's like that franchise to me is like I give it so much respect and credit for it for garnering this huge community,
Because I'm
even
pretty
for
sure it
people.
was the most top grossing franchise ever.
Oh, absolutely.
It is, yeah.
Mhm.
With like 10 billion total, I think, which is a large amount, especially for a franchise that's been going so long.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But there's been people who start like thinking negatively of it because they haven't been liking it, especially ever since around X and Y. People think it's been declining in quality ever
Yeah.
since they went 3D because
Um,
people what
okay, I love Pokemon. Okay,
hmm
it was like my first game. Whatever, whatever. God, I never want to play Sword and Shield in my fucking life.
I
It
and
looks
heard
he's
that.
horrendous. That shit looks hideous. That shit looks unfun. The Pokemon look like trash.
Wait, what?
We're talking about
New
Pokemon, George. Have you not been paying attention to? Oh my fucking
I
god!
was out.
Okay,
You
well,
never said you
Okay,
were.
I
some of the
said.
new Pokemon
No, you
designs look
didn't.
nice.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
but
did.
yeah,
I just
yeah.
it's
Okay,
DLC. Why do I need DLC?
okay, yeah, that's true. When I heard that a DLC for Pokemon would come out, I would have never thought that would happen in a million years.
Cause like if they were to make a DLC, I think they should have made it cheaper. Because the fact that if you pay like $20 extra just so you can have the ability to catch more Pokemon is kind of dumb. Cause I personally, cause I've barely started recently playing it again because I wanted to play it because I want to play Pokemon games because I haven't played any in forever. And just sometimes just for some reason they thought it'd be a good idea to freaking make it so that every Pokemon, like a lot of Pokemon, were scrapped out, which I don't like. But I guess it's getting the Sonic treatment, slow
Yeah,
death,
but it's the thing is that
unless
like
they
of
somehow
course
pick up their shit.
these studios have to take like risk into like making like ensuring that they're making like a good quality game, and of course like removing some of the Pokemon in that game, sure it sucks, but like it's whatever it takes for them to get the shit out of the fucking stores.
I
I don't know.
okay. I personally like the idea of having like cut Pokemon because it's like now you can try out cool new Pokemon. You don't have to, you know, you can try out
But it
a
doesn't
lot of
mean
new
that they
Pokemon
can't
that you.
like because you can like limit them to certain areas, and obviously there's some Pokemon that have been caught in certain conditions, which they could have done with some of them. But like the whole term is to like the Pokemon is a collecting game mostly besides the RPG base because there's the famous term gotta catch 'em all. But the fact that they don't want to let you do what the game is said to do, catch 'em all, collect all the Pokemon, like it's stated so many times.
I don't think anyone does that anymore.
Not
True.
anymore because you can't. You have to
No, because
instead of
there's like
catching, you have to
there's over like
transfer.
800.
Well, that just makes it a challenge.
Like I think with like the people who like want bring back the national deck, so like a Pokemon is like there's always like a Pokemon that like every person has their own favorite Pokemon. Even like the most disgusting Pokemon it has like that's someone's favorite.
Yeah,
And it's like for me, it's like I have a favorite Pokemon too. If I'm not sure if it's cut from Pokemon Sword and Shield, but if it is, I could not give two shits.
I'm
I
pretty
do
sure
not care
Ampharos
if my
isn't
favorite
cut out.
Pokemon are not in my team. I just don't care.
I personally do care, since I like using Pokemons I like to use. And obviously, I'll try to make my team have more of the not new units, more of the new Pokemon. Like in my Pokemon Sword and Shield, currently half my team is only exclusively Galar region. But like, I just, I at least I'm saving one room just so I can have my like other favorite Pokemon because I have two favorite Pokemon is Oshawott and Dino, but I just don't like. Well, I'm fine with the starters not being in because they've always you can only get one starter besides in what was the
X and
freaking
Y.
region X and Y. Yeah, it was the only region where you can basically get like an extra starter Pokemon. But that's basically all I have to say about it.
my final thing to say about Pokemon, even though I'm not a huge Pokemon fan, as a gamer, and don't quote me on gamer, but I feel like Game Freak has slowly evolved to like this they're like milking the franchise for cash, and I know that's what they've been doing this entire time. But the thing is that it's slowly becoming like the next EA almost, or what
I no,
like
I really don't think at all is becoming the new EA
yeah
because EA has like a lot of pay to win mechanics. It's
yeah
never like if
and
you waste money on Pokemon, it doesn't really give you an advantage over others. It just
yeah.
means you can catch more things
But
since this is an expansion
it, fe-
pass.
it feels like
But
this
like
a new.
okay, Miguel, because
Sorry.
like there's a thing that people are saying like, oh, they should like branch out and make new things, which obviously they should make some new things. But people are getting mad at them for continuously making something that obviously makes them money.
Yeah.
It's like telling a Minecraft YouTuber to stop making Minecraft videos like at the time when it was popular because
Yeah.
everyone did it and like it was such a popular thing that made everyone make money. And obviously that didn't stop anyone, so people did it until it just died off as a whole. But since Pokemon has managed to keep hype around for a good while, since it doesn't release as often, and it just provides like a bunch of new variety and just a bunch of new stuff. But they
Yeah.
shouldn't stop the series
Oh
as
no,
a
absolutely.
whole just because people don't like as many people don't like it anymore.
Yeah, but it's like I don't mean by like money grabbing. I meant like as in quality of games. Like like there's always gonna be like the new Call of Duty and like the new Madden. Like some of those games make sense, but for Pokemon, it feels like
Madden
the more
doesn't make sense because it's the same thing every time. Every freaking football,
Pokemon
not
Dash.
football, but like every
Madden.
single whatchamacallit, every single new like sports game has basically been the same. I don't see any difference, dude.
Yeah, but it's just like Pokemon is like slowly becoming like milked and milk with like it's at this point it's gonna be like a new game each year, and I fear for that community who really care about the series and well stop treating it like if they're being like milked for this. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to either you guys or the anyone who's watching this, but like to me like someone could probably rephrase it better than I can. That's all I gotta say for Pokemon. Nothing wrong with the franchise though.
I still like it, but I know there's probably like, some better RPGs at this point.
Hmm.
Can anyone think of like any new RPGs coming up, like any RPGs as a whole?
So- but I think before we end this, I think we should talk about one specific game that Daniel found for the Switch, and it's called Final Sword.
Oh, Final
Oh yeah, now
Sword.
that's the RPG game we gotta be playing.
Yeah. All right. For those of you who don't know, I look up on Google or on the link on chat. Final Sword. Oh my
It's
god.
a brand new game meant just for the fuck is it called? RPG. If you're too poor to afford, what's the game? Um,
Dragon's
can
Quest.
Dragon's Quest. This is just for you. I'll skip in the middle, so you can enjoy this. What you can, if for those who are watching, this
Oh my
godforsaken
lord.
gameplay. Oh my goodness, this is horrible.
It's like a worse RuneScape.
It's a worse Dragon Quest as well.
Oh god. But no, it's just we just saw this was generally really bad.
Of course, it's really bad, man.
They allowed this on the eShop, and I don't know why.
People thought this was a good money investment.
Yeah,
The worst part is there's probably like there was a Kickstarter for it, if anything.
Uh,
probably.
I don't know.
Not gonna
Never
lie.
mind.
Whenever a Kickstarter for a game comes out, I highly doubt that it will be successful.
remember Mighty Number Nine?
Yeah. I
No.
mean, except for Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight really went well. It went really well. But remember ukulele or something like that?
I
Oh
haven't
yeah,
heard of this
ukulele.
one.
It was basically like kind of like reskin of Banjo Kazooie.
How bad was that? Jesus, this sounds
It was
bad. A reskin of Banjo Kazooie.
But
it was
it felt like more of a sequel, but like it's like
it was
it's not
okay.
it was okay, but it wasn't like the like best. It was just mediocre.
Yeah, no, I've never really heard of it.
And
Because
then Mighty Number Nine was just a mess.
Yeah, and it's just a mess of a game.
I still haven't heard about that one.
Mighty Number Nine's just like,
It's like
dude,
a Mega
we're
Man.
making
Like
the new Mega Man, and it's like, fuck yeah, we're gonna get. They're pledging $3,800,000, and then they made fucking the shit of Mighty Number Nine.
yeah, the trailer got so much hate.
Yeah, no, that just sounds like it was horrible.
No, yeah, it was bad. Trust me. I never played it, but oh my god, the reviewers back then they spared no mercy.
And Shovel
And they
Knight, a
still don't.
way better game, got $300,000.
Yeah, and giving out free content as DLC, or at least to my knowledge.
It's not a DLC if it's free,
Well, it doesn't matter. It's free
but
DLC.
it's still free expansion.
Expansion of my mighty dong.
I hate you.
I think that's all I could say really about today's podcast. or at
Yeah,
least someone.
we've done some pretty good talking about some games and topics of games and games and games and music.
But the best game of all that we could all agree to
Fortnite.
No.
Super Mario 2, baby. Super
God
Super Super
Wait,
Mario.
wait,
Super
we
Super
went through the whole thing without talking about Mario.
Super
Oh,
Mario.
can we
Mario,
really end
really
it?
cool game. If everyone's mom's played it.
My
Yeah.
mom played it.
My mom played Sonic.
My mom got played Super Mario 64 on the DS and got every single star.
What?
She's pretty good at that
Your
game.
mom? Wait, your mom is a gamer?
She was.
My mom played Sonic.
Yeah, but guess
Uh,
what? One's a dead franchise and one isn't.
Well,
Yeah,
guess
but Sonic was fast paced, rapid action,
T-
shit,
if we're
bullshit.
talking about 2D, that's a different story.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Mario in 2D sucks ass.
it
You
sucks
know what?
ass.
You know what? I think we should talk about Mario Party 9 if we're gonna talk
No,
about
Mario
Mario.
Party as a whole.
Yeah.
Mario Party. The new one's okay. The
Yeah.
ones Mario
The
Party
new
9 and
one
10 are bad.
sucks. The fact that there's like not
And
a
exploit.
tier
Well,
lists.
well, can we all agree this is the best game?
What is it,
Are
George?
you talking Final Sword?
Wii Sports.
Oh,
The Wii
How did we
Yeah.
Sports.
forget about Wii Sports?
The same way we forgot about a very good game of Mario. Fuck me.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm like, I can't believe we talked about video games and not talk about Mario.
Because I don't know. Basically, all I have to say for the series is I don't like the side scroller ones, and I personally love the Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Sunshine the most.
Basically, the 3D Mario's.
Yeah, that's basically it. The like 3D Mario's are basically my personal favorite.
I
My
think
personal favorite
Mario Galaxy
games.
was like the second game I beaten.
But did you really beat it by yourself without the help of your mom or your
No,
brother?
I didn't even own a Wii. I played it with I played it with my cousins.
What game?
Mario Galaxy.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
played the second one first.
I actually didn't even need any help because like for me like the games were like I was able to read back then, so I was like, all right, that makes
I used to be able to read. Now I can't.
sense.
I'm
And
an illiterate fuck now.
literally, God, you see, this is what happens.
The
But
declinements of your language is
exactly,
funny.
the English language just fucking plays with your balls.
well, how about this one?
Well, God,
Super Mario Bros. Wii. As
oh
I
my,
said, since it's a side scroller, I personally didn't like it because it just got chaotic pretty fast, and then
yeah, playing with like 4 players or even just two is just a pain.
was like a little too much for me.
Yeah, because Super Mario Brothers Wii, as a cool concept it just it does not execute well with like the limited amount of players you can play with.
I had fun
Especially
with
with
it.
small space, because you can
I
have
have
fun
fun
with
with
it, because you can mess around really badly. You can screw over your friends, and there's a bunch of stuff that you can mess around with in it that can make it
Oh,
fun. But I've never been a fan of side scrollers. I just like being able to have an open area for me to look around with, and then that's usually how I end up having fun with a lot of games.
But like with Mario Party, no, not Mario Party, Super Mario Brothers Wii,
Mario
it
Party.
would be fun if you're just goofing off, like you're like not even trying to beat it, just fucking around, like hell, even like trolling with your friends. But like if you're actually like taking it like as like a serious game, good fucking luck.
You know, because like a lot, there's like, has there ever been a competitive Mario game? That I think about it,
I mean,
or
if
like
you're kind
competitive
of like
Sonic game.
I don't know, like Mario and Sonic in the real Olympics.
Hold on, that's not what we're talking about. We're gonna talk Nintendo.
Yeah, I own the game.
We gotta talk Nintendo as a whole.
I want to talk about their kind of like dead rep like series.
Franchises.
Which one? It's like Sonic.
There's a lot.
Uh,
That's Sega.
Oh yeah,
that's
fuck me.
Sega.
Sorry,
Oh my god.
sorry.
Like,
It just makes
So
sense.
dumb.
boo, this man, boo.
Ooh.
Ooh.
What
Ah.
gamer are you?
What gamer are you, my G?
One who doesn't like Sonic.
We
Uh,
got
F
Pikmin,
Zero. Oh yeah, Pikmin.
Kid
Uh,
Icarus.
What is it?
Speaking of games of disappointment, I was
Or
playing Clash Royale right
Mother.
now. Opened up a legendary chest and pulled another Ice Wizard. Let's get it. Let's
I'm
get it, guy.
very, very excited for the new Metroid Prime.
Oh yeah, we like
There's been like
Metroid
no
has
information on it though.
yeah, and I think that makes it exciting to like see. But at least like it's like it's definitely gonna come out at some
Cause
point.
like there's no like a certain amount of hype that they're waiting for. You could say because if they don't review anything, they won't overhype people, and then it might be disappointment.
And it might lead to a cancellation,
Hmm.
which has happened a lot. But but there's some back then when Luigi's Mansion 3 came out, like as like a teaser, like a lot of people have like doubted like it's like full release until like last year, it fully came out,
And
and
people liked it.
yeah, it was a pretty fun game. Well, I didn't play it, but it looked fun.
A game that was like very viral and like completely forgot about once like the popularity fade was over was Doki Doki Literature Club.
Mm,
Because
for
it
me,
was because that was like such like if you didn't pay attention to the tags, because that was something that could have just screwed you over. Even if there's a small hint at the beginning that like it's telling you something bad may happen, and just like
yeah,
users discretion advised. But
I,
because what seemed like to be like a normal dating sim,
yeah,
which already just didn't sound like too appealing for people because no one really played those unless you're a freaking like disgusting weed but covered in Cheeto dust with your triple
You're the
chin.
same guy who keeps telling me to buy you Hoonie Pop.
Yeah, well, that's for the irony and cause the horny. All right, next thing about Unipop. No, fuck,
right,
not Unipop. Fuck.
that
It's
rhymes.
a better Candy Crush, Daniel.
Huh?
It's a better Candy Crush.
I hate you.
I'm
Yeah,
not
but
wrong.
unfortunately, moms can't play
Um,
it.
what
But
was I gonna say?
anyway, they can. They just don't. But
Well,
back
Slender
the
Man. Remember that
Slender.
game?
Slender
Oh my
Man,
goodness.
Slender Man.
Y'all remember the really bad Slender Man song that we heard in that one Roblox game?
Oh, wait,
What?
I don't know about this.
Oh, basically on Roblox, there's a game. It was like, what was it? Like scary elevator. I don't know a specific one,
I think
but one it would be like you would go into an elevator and you'd get into a random area, and then every time it would be a random like horror stuff, like a
Wait, was it
creepypasta
this one? Cause
or anything
I
that's
don't
scary.
remember too well.
wait, which one?
Come on,
Oh, yeah, hold on. Oh no, I thought you were talking about because I remember listening
I
to
don't know what this is. Let me see.
a Slender Man song, but it was like it felt like it was more.
Yes, this one.
What is? I need to listen to this.
This is such a bad song.
It's like very generic. Like this is something I would like hear at a fucking Halloween party.
That was such a bad song that you would hear. So like already the fact that you're not in a really scary game with this really not scary song,
That's just
it
trying.
just stacked up on like it was just bad.
It
What's your
wasn't. They
most
weren't even
scariest?
trying.
I want to ask y'all a question.
What?
Yeah.
What's
What
your
is it?
most scariest like video game experience?
Ooh.
Or
The most
something you
scariest
I'm
one?
remember
not
from a video
sure.
game that scared you a lot.
I think it's either FNAF, like the first one, or like the Slender Man game.
Oh, what about the thing you mentioned previously of the eye thing that scared you in the Lego Hobbit or something? Or Lego
Oh no,
Lord of the Rings?
okay, but
Ice
that's not a
Storm
horror.
one?
Okay, all
Yeah,
right,
but
story
like the
time.
thing that scared you.
Okay, story time. So back then, when Lego Lord of the Rings came out, I was pretty excited because I love Lego games. So I bought it on my Xbox 360, and I played it for a while because it was late, but I wanted to play it anyways. And before I was gonna like turn it off, I wanted to do like one last mission. So in the game, there's like areas where you can't like go to. So it had like an invisible wall. So every time you would like go to it, it'll just jump scare you with the Eye of Sauron while like playing some like ominous music like like shit like that, and that
Wait,
scared me.
wait for what game?
Like Lego Lord of the Rings or Hobbit or whatever. I don't know. It's like Lego Lord of the Rings if I remember correctly. I don't know, but that was like my first ever jump scare from like a video game that wasn't even a horror game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Reminds me of a time my friend was playing I don't know what game. I'm pretty sure it was a Star Fox for the Nintendo 64. I'm not sure, but basically, like there was a boss that happened that like after like it would transform, it'd be a boss, and it showed like a scary face, like the boss seemed kind of scary. And to like my friend, I absolutely terrified him. He like paused the game, threw the remote, ran outside, and like called his brother or sister or something like to finish the game for him, just of how terrified he was out of the sheer fact of the boss being too scary.
Those fucking. I wish I had more of those like video game traumatic like stories.
Well, mine's this one.
Oh, like your first horror game?
Yeah.
My first horror game was definitely Five Nights at Freddy's, and back then I was a giga pussy, like scared
Back
of everything.
You were.
And then not to help me out, I was also a really stupid child as well. On top of being a pussy, I was a retard, like that in my skull type of idiot. But basically, when I was in elementary, Five Nights at Freddy's was starting to become pretty popular, and like this was the time when FNAF 2 came out. And so Jorge here, after school, we were waiting for the bus. He was talking to me about it, and he said like, "Oh, you should play Five Nights at Freddy's. It's not that bad." And whatever. Like, I don't wanna. And he told me, "Well, if you like beat the game, you actually get the paycheck at the end." And the gullible idiot I was,
Hey,
I'm
I
like,
was nice though. You
I'll
gotta
think
take
about it.
it.
And eventually, I go back home one day, and like I asked my mom if she can buy me the game. She says no, but like I could make the money back by playing the game. And then like I like
Oh,
finally played the game. Eventually, like
That's sad.
wait a minute, he lied
fucking.
to me. Oh, I hated you. That
I
that
can.
that made me
Hey,
so mad.
The
at
funniest part
least
is
I
I can
helped you
imagine
out.
that whole scenario.
Hey,
It
at least I
it
helped
was
you out,
horrible.
okay?
Oh, Jorge, you absolute saint.
Hey, I wasn't nice though. They gave you a
I
paycheck.
mean, he didn't lie about the paycheck.
Technically the
I
truth.
didn't get the money. I didn't get any free money.
Technically the truth. And everything you're trying to get in your life.
Oh my god, that's a fucking funny ass story to tell.
It was such a thing that pissed me off.
Oh my god. But no, like, I love horror games and I want to play more of them. I want to play like Outlast and some of the Resident Evil games. Hell, even the new one that's coming out.
Hold up. I want to say two things that
Three
scared me
was
as
three
well.
or eight.
It
Okay, I
was the
was.
'Cause I
freaking
watched a lot of like horror, like video
creepy
game
pasta.
videos, and there's always Sonic CD.
Oh
This
Oh, I
yeah,
hate that one.
and then yeah, that
That
one.
thing's just scary by itself.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
just try to give the context what it is for people who are listening only.
yeah.
basically in Sonic CD, you can enter a secret hidden
Code.
sound test, and if you enter a code through it, you'll unlock that screen.
Which like I don't remember what it translates to, but it was
I
like
literally said explain the picture, and you just explained the context. Like, oh yeah, and then there's a picture on screen. Podcast is mostly meant for listening, not viewing. But
yeah, but
basically, the picture was a background Sonic character with a face photoshopped as one of the
oh,
developers with some Japanese text, sorry, that like resembled like saying something about Majin person, which was just
the
originally it was supposed to be like made a creepy pasta like relating to Satan whatever, but it was just a nickname that was given to one of the
the
developers.
Do you guys know the Game Boy camera?
oh
No,
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, I
I
know
do
what you're
not
talking
remember the Game Boy
You
camera.
know like the
about. What?
secret like scary like face you get from running
Oh,
through
oh
puzzles.
wait, I think I have an idea what you're talking about.
I
And
haven't.
that shit scared the shit out of me. You want me to send it or something?
Yeah,
Just
send.
send it.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I need a refresher.
There's a couple, so I'll send just like one or two.
What wasn't? Oh yeah, it's that one. Yeah.
Was
No,
it
I
like
don't
an
remember.
actual thing that would
It was
happen, or was it just like some
I think
bullshit
I think I
hoax?
no,
think it
this
was
is
like
what happened. They showed you these faces, and then because you'd run in in the mini game, and then like really like weird like music would play, and then she's like, "Who are you running from?"
yeah. It's
I
like I
don't
think in the
know.
like once you die, like I think it shows you the faces if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of this one. I've heard like
Yeah,
some creepypasta,
Same, I
but this is
never heard of
definitely
I,
it.
the
I
one.
I saw the Angry Video Game Nerd do a review on the Game Boy accessories, and this showed up. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Shit like
basically.
this scares me. I kind
Mm-hmm.
of like old stuff.
It was really I don't know why they even added that one. Was there like context of like why they did it?
I
I
guess
don't.
it's to scare them.
I guess just to scare little children who bought
Like,
this.
all right, boys,
Any
we're gonna be
about the
huge
game that I sent,
pricks.
for the game that I
And
sent,
it worked. It worked. I got
It
scared.
worked. Yeah.
Eh,
I
Dead
mean,
by
look at it
Daylight.
here.
Alright, say something about Dead by Daylight since you've been wanting
Yeah.
to talk about it
Yeah.
so long.
You want to talk about
it's
Dead by Daylight?
technically like hide and seek, but for survivor that for survivors you have to fix generators in order to get out from hell.
Well, what makes this like game like so fun to you, or why do you love it so much?
Yeah, not just like
Well,
whatchamacallit. Not
if
just
you're a
like,
survivor, you
oh,
have
this
to hide
is
away from the killers.
well, no duh, but like
No, the,
talk
Like
about
what?
like your enjoyment to it and everything.
Yeah, and why do you love it so much?
the community in it, you technically get to interact with we
Like the players in the game.
yes with players like we can teabag on killers, which is
I feel
toxic.
like Dead by Daylight it's like a perfect game for it to have like so many like funny moments in it. Just
Yeah,
like especially like when you're in a group of like friends in a call and you're like just goofing around with the fucking enemy in the game, or just making some stupid ass bits.
yeah, but
As
it's scary when the killer's chasing after you,
oh yeah,
going after you actually.
it would be kind of funny if like it was like a 10-year-old who is like the creature and it's just like a bunch of fucking grown ass men being the survivors. I don't know why. I just thought like a little kid would play the fucking monster. It'd be so funny to me. But yeah, that's all I can say about it.
Anyways, how about you, Ricardo?
Yeah, no, I never had like experience with Dead by Daylight. I've never played it, much less watched it.
But
But there's not really much I can talk about this since I absolutely do not know like anything about this.
yeah, same here. I never played the game, but like I give it respect for it. It's like horror genre and like all these like franchise characters just coming in. But
I think this is a good way to end it off with your
yeah,
little awkward. Uh, all right.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna
this
smack
was
you
the first podcast that we done. The quality should eventually keep on getting better and better since this is our not the
first
first
podcast.
time, but
Yeah,
the first time. But it should definitely improve in quality from now on, hopefully. And hope you enjoyed this video that we did for this podcast. And there should be video if we get this uploaded by the 5th of July, we should be able to get a video out by July the 7th at 1 a.m. Don't
June
question the
6th.
timing. No, I changed the time.
Oh.
Alright, alright. Well, see you guys later. I won't say your last
Wait.
words.
wait,
Alright, say
you
it.
forgot our ending slogans.
That's what I told
Final
you.
word.
That's what I told
Our
you. Now
final
say
word.
your final words.
yeah, peace
All right,
out.
Bazinga 2 out on the Xbox
The
7020.
electric boogaloo.
God damn it.